All right, let's get this party started. Get my stuff going. All right. Back on the trainer. Man, I was hoping that that wouldn't have to happen, but hey, not so bad to get back on. Get the legs going again. It's good to have some concentrated efforts like this every once in a while if you could back out riding outside. It's good to kind of bring it back inside and start to get the legs back together. So this past weekend, Randy and I, Earl and Lillian, who you guys might know, Shannon, and Dave and Karen and Bill, all of our friends, we went out to Pennsylvania to do a gravel event called Lou Laka Wacko Hundo. Not quite sure why the name, but there were various gravel distances, various terrain going from road to gravel. Only one little section like through the woods for the longer distance. And so Randy and I completed 102 miles with 9,200 feet of climbing. It was brutal. And the crazy part was, it was warm there and a completely different temperature here. So when we got home on Sunday night, we stepped out of the car at like 9 o'clock in shorts and a t-shirt, and it was freezing here. So it was just weird to think that we were not very far away, 2 hours away, kind of in the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, and the temperatures were completely different. So you know the drill to get started. You have your fan, your water bottle, and your towel. Get yourself in a nice easy gear, small ring. Let's just spin this out for about 5. A couple of you were already on the bike, so that's good. We'll just get our legs warmed up a little bit. So tonight we're going to do, called this spin-ups. Spin-ups are good because they're high cadence work, but it's also work that's going to get your body to understand how to go from one cadence to another. So you hear me kind of drill into your head that 90 cadence. Well, obviously there's times when that cadence changes. So you might go up a hill, it might drop down to 75, depending on how steep it is. And then you get up on the other side of the hill, and you increase your cadence as you go down the other side. So that's kind of what this workout's going to be. Some cadence changes and some build-ups where we're going to build to a cadence and hold it. So it's cool how the body will adjust to this. So I want you to think about, in the first set that we do, don't want you to worry about what gear you're in. I want you to really think about your form, getting to those higher cadences, and being able to hold that higher cadence. So we're looking for leg speed in the first main set. And you'll see what that's about once we get there. So for now, we're just going to warm up the body. Then we'll warm up a little bit more, kind of bring a little lactic acid to the surface, get the body going. And then we'll move into pretty much 2 main sets, and then 1 little short effort at the end just to finish up. And then we'll be a half an hour finishing earlier today than normally, since normally we start at 7. All right, so our first kind of little opener. I want everybody to be in their small ring and around your 23. So if you have a 25 or a 28 at the top, shift down to 1 easier gear or 1 harder gear and start from there. So every minute, we're going to shift to a harder gear. And I want you to try to keep your cadence above 90 for each shift. So 3, 2, 1. Obviously for this first gear, if you're at 100, that's great. I want you to try to hold that 100 for as long as you can as we move down these gears. It's gonna just get us getting that leg speed started, get the blood flowing, heart pumping, lungs starting to work. If you feel yourself being very breathless at the beginning of a workout, don't worry so much about that. Because once you warm up, then your breath will settle in, just like your body does. You start to settle in and get into a rhythm. 3, 2, 1 harder gear. Keep that cadence right where you had it. So if you were at 90, do everything in your power to stay there. If you were at 100, even better. Nice light feet. Concentrate on your body position. Get this bend in your elbows. Hands are relaxed. Legs are just flying. If you're bouncing, which I don't think any of you are, then just dial back that cadence a little bit. One more shift harder. A harder gear, but again, try to hold that same cadence. This is how you know you're making improvements. When you can shift to a harder gear and hold the same cadence. I'm at 102 as my cadence. So if by chance you're following my legs, that's where I am. Nice and steady. Let your legs do the work. Upper body is really still. 3, 2, 1 more shift. Now is when you might start feeling that cadence changing. You might not be able to hold that 100. Do your best to hold the highest cadence possible. And if you're starting to feel some burn in the legs, that's good. 'Cause that's what we want. And we want that lactic acid start coming to the surface. Getting our legs ready. We're going to do 1 more shift. 3, 2, 1 harder gear. Now your cadence might really change. And more than likely, starting to sweat a little. Your breathing might be a little more labored. That's okay. It's all part of the warming up process. Three, two, one. Back up to that easiest gear. Allow your legs to just spin. Take a drink. And remember, you want to finish that bottle by the end of the workout. That's your main goal. And I'm going to talk about that based on my experience over the weekend. All right, so our first main set. How is this going to go? And again, I want you to remember, this is about keeping that cadence super high, and we want each one to look the same. And the other part is, you don't have to be in a super hard gear. I just want you to get leg speed here. So an easier gear is fine. If you want to work on improving your cadence by going to a harder gear, you can do that. So you might try some in one gear and some in a little harder gear. So we're going to do 8 by 1.5 minute spin ups. So we're going to pretty much start, and then within 15 seconds of that minute and a half, I want you to get your cadence to 100 plus and hold it there for that whole minute and a half. Then we're going to get 30 seconds easy and just do it all over again. So it's going to be a total of 16 minutes with some rest in between. So if you want to put yourself in your small ring around your 19 or your 21, maybe 3 or 4 gears down from your hardest gear in the back, or from your easiest gear in the back, we're going to start there. All right, 3, 2, 1. I want you to build this up. Hold it at 95. Then we're going to move to 100. In 3, 2, 1. Get to 100. And if 100 feels good, then you're in the right gear. We're going to try to move even faster to 110. Let's get it there. And then you're going to hold it for a minute. Remember, if you get tall in your torso, that'll help open the legs up. Get your legs to go faster. Allow your hips to actually move efficiently, because you've taken your core and helped to get those hips to get the legs going fast. Just looking for leg speed. That's all this is about. Remember what gear you're in, because you're going to go back there for the next effort. In 3, 2, 1. Shift all the way to the top of your cassette. Allow yourself to spin easy. Take a drink. This is rest. So now you know what the next 7 efforts need to look like. We're going to start somewhere around 95. Move to 100, then move to 110 and hold it there. So find that gear again. 3, 2, 1. These are going to go fast. Holding 95. Nice and steady. Allow yourself to ramp it up here. Get it to 100. So in that first 30 seconds, you're just setting it up, moving it to where you want it to be. Let's get it to 110 again for 1 minute solid. Nice and steady. Again, you don't have to be in a super hard gear. We're looking for leg speed here. Good. Like it. Everybody looks comfortable. Relax in that upper body. Let the legs do all the work. When you do this kind of work, the legs start to understand how to go fast. That's what we want. 3, 2, nice easy gear. Take another drink. Bring your cadence down to like 80-ish. Might feel this in your hamstrings a little bit. That's okay. We're just building them up. Making them stronger. All right, find that gear again. 3, 2, right at 95. Hold it there. Up to 100. Sometimes it's hard to get dialed in to the cadence that you want. This is good practice. And a 110. 1 full minute. Holding it steady. So there were multiple distances for this ride we did this weekend. There was 100, 75, and a metric. Each of them with about 100 feet per mile of elevation. And if anybody knows that area of Pennsylvania, as you get closer to western Pennsylvania, the hills, they're just continuous. So as you all know, I grew up in western Pennsylvania. I felt right at home in this part of PA. Good climbs. Gravel climbs are different. 3, 2, 1. Easy. Take a drink. All right. We're moving through these nicely. I know for me, I can already feel my legs starting to kind of open up, kind of shake out some of that soreness. All right, find that gear again. Right to 95. Allow yourself to just dial that one in perfectly. Right there on it. Go to 100. All right, 1 minute. Bring it up to 110 if you can make it happen. If you're only hitting 105, that's fine too. Just want to get it over 100. So you get some nice, good spin out of this. So part of our training right now is getting us ready for Unbound, which is a 200-mile gravel event that we're doing in June. So today was her Sunday was about kind of build up to that 100. So we did 43 miles on Saturday and 50 miles on Friday. 3, 2, 1, nice and easy. Wow, see how fast that goes when I tell stories? All right, you're halfway there. Same thing we're going to do for the second half. Now in this second half, if you feel like the legs are starting to open up and you're getting a little faster leg speed, if you want to try shifting to the harder gear, go for it. All right, find that gear. Back to 95. Nice and steady. Now you might be finding it's hard holding 95. Get it to 100. The legs are getting faster. Starting to understand what you're asking of them. And then to 110. 1 minute here. So the start of the ride was at a fire hall, which, as I said to Randy, for some reason in Pennsylvania, the fire halls are the center of everything. Everything happens at the fire hall. Birthday parties, anniversaries, baby showers, and bike rides. So it was nice. They had a good parking lot, easy access, necessary facilities. And it was kind of cool when we started, so that was good. 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. So fortunately, I didn't have to carry with me a ton of clothes. I just had some really light arm warmers on, and that was it. So it was nice to finally be able to ride with some bare skin, ultimately. All right, back to that gear. 95 solid. We're moving through this. Bringing it up to 100, which if you were me, I cheated on that first 15 seconds. I was already at 100. And here you go. 110. Solid 110 for that minute. So it's interesting now, if you've gone on a bike ride recently, or a organized ride, a lot of rides aren't marking the courses any longer. They just give you a GPX file, say you're on your way. This course was marked to some degree, maybe in a few spots needed some better marking, but it was surprising to see actual painted arrows on the ground. And our GPS did pretty good. We didn't get lost at all. 3, 2, up to that easy gear. All right, you only have 2 more of these to go. Moving fast through this. I like these workouts where the efforts go quickly. And you get through the main sets, you're like, wow, we're already Almost 30 minutes into the workout. All right, here we go. Back to 95. Don't cheat it. Control it. And to 100. You only have 2 more left. And to 110 for that solid minute. So, of course, right at the beginning of the 100-mile course, I'm not sure if the other courses did this. I forgot to ask those guys. They took us like straight up into this neighborhood. Climb up, and then you climb down, then you climbed up again, and then you went through the woods in a section where it looked like they had just cleared away the brush just to see what we were made of right at the beginning. Then we got on this really cool road along a railroad track, along a lake. 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. 30 seconds. Heading into the last one. So again, for this last one, if you want to make a gear change, go a little harder in your gear selection. See if you can hold the same cadences for the efforts that we're putting out. All right, make that shift right at 90. Last one for this set. I'm sorry, 95. That's what we're looking for. Holding that steady. Now moving up to 100. Again, if you don't have a cadence sensor, you can always follow my legs. And a 110. 1 solid minute. Last minute of 110. So, of course, when you do a 100-mile course with that amount of climbing, obviously, your hydration and your nutrition play a key role in making sure you can get through the day. So I actually had 2 water bottles on my bike, and I was carrying a small Camelback too, just because I want to get used to it, because it's something I'm going to be using out in Kansas. 3, 2, find that easy gear. So if you're preparing for an event, in your training, use what you think you're going to be using in that event so that your body gets used to it, be it a drink mix, food, whatever, so that you start to test it out and you might find, I can't use this. It really doesn't work for me. All right. We're going to have 1 minute easy just to allow yourself to cool down. Get something to drink, towel off. We're going to move into the next set. So this next set, it's 10 minutes long. The key to it is holding those cadences that I'm suggesting and making sure that your gearing is matching that cadence. So just to give you an example, we're going to start at a 75 cadence. That doesn't mean be in your easiest gear and hold 75 cadence. That means be in a gear that's going to put you at 75 cadence and make you work a little for that 75 cadence. So every 2 minutes, we're going to increase our cadence, which you can, at the same time, change your gearing to match the cadence that you wish to hold. So we're looking for you to be, if you're using zones, somewhere around the top of your zone 3, bottom of zone 4 kind of effort. That would be somewhere between 7 and 8 on a rate of perceived exertion scale. If you don't have those kinds of data, then you can use the RPE scale. So for the first 2 minutes, I would recommend that you be in your big ring and a gear that's going to put you at that 75. All right, in 15 seconds, you might want to pick your big ring around your 19 or 17, whatever gear is going to work for you. So go ahead, find that big ring, find the gear that you think is going to work. 75 cadence is what we're looking for 2 solid minutes. This is a lot different than what we just did. It might take you a little while to shift around, find that perfect cadence, find that perfect gear. But when you find it, it's okay if you feel like your leg speed is slow. That's what we want. So now it's almost like you're climbing up a hill and your cadence is going to change after you get to the top. So for each 2 minute set, we're increasing that cadence by about 5 RPMs. So nice and solid here. Keeping those feet flat. Have a tendency when you do a lower cadence to push your heels down. I want you to use all parts of that pedal stroke. Over the top, pull a little back, pulling up and over, but keeping those feet flat. Good, I'm dead on to 75. And you shouldn't be doing this. Upper body is really still. Lower body's doing the work. All right, we're coming up to a shift change. You're going to shift easier. Put yourself at 80. In 3, 2, 1. You can stay in that big ring. Now, if you found yourself going to 90 by making that shift, maybe you want to shift back down to that harder gear. So dial it in. This is about control. You might find your heart rate giving you, for this, shouldn't be super hard. Super high, I mean. We get up to those higher cadences and harder gears, that's when that will come into play. So what I decided to do on my bike during the ride on Sunday was I put electrolyte mix in my 2 bottles on my frame, and I put plain water in my Camelback, which was good. It worked. The only thing that happens is, of course, as it gets warmer, the water on your back can get warmer. So it's just a question of, do you like plain water hot? Or do you like water with electrolyte mixed in and hot? That's ultimately is what's going to happen. All right, we're coming up to 4 minutes. You're going to move up to 85. Go ahead and shift to one easier gear if you feel like you need it. Get yourself to 85. No higher. Be in control here. Of course, now you're also going to notice that you might start sweating. Because if you're in the right zone, you're starting to burn a little fat on this one. And if your hydration wasn't so great today, you might be sweating a little more because your body's trying to cool itself. So that's why a good hydration regimen on a daily basis can affect how you feel and how you sweat. So we were out on the course to our first aid station, which was at 36 miles. And Earl, Lillian, Shannon, Dave, Karen, and Bill were doing the metric. And they were all distances were using the same course. So we didn't know if we were going to see anybody all day. We roll into the first aid station, and lo and behold, there's Dave, Karen, and Bill. It was crazy. Like, what are the odds that we would meet them with 2,000 or so people on the course? All right, one easier gear, bringing it up to 90. You might be able to stay in your big ring. You might need to go to your small ring here. It's up to you. If you're getting too much cross chain, which I think I'm going to make a change, I'm going to go down to my small ring, come to a better gear so I don't have all that noise and clatter. Hold 90. We're 6 minutes and 45 seconds in. It's a 10-minute effort. If you did make that change, you might have to shift around and find the right gear. Holding that 90. So we leave that second aid station, or the first aid station, and I kind of knew, or had seen one of the guys at the aid station at some of the other events that we've done. He says to me, yeah, you better hurry up and get stuff here, because the people that were supposed to bring the bananas and the goo, for some reason, those boxes weren't here. So they had like half the amount of aid that they were supposed to have. Moving into the last 2 minutes. One more easier gear. Up to 95. Holding steady there for the last 2 minutes. So our next aid station was at, I don't even know, 52 maybe? Lo and behold, we roll up. Who's the first person we see? Dave. So Dave and Karen and Bill were at the second aid station. right there. So we must have been riding like parallel to each other in different parts of the courses. It was crazy. And second aid station was a taco bar. I was a little afraid of that. I'm not sure I would want to eat a taco in the middle of a century that has 9,000 feet of climbing. So the lesson that was learned in that instance was, even if you know they have stocked aid stations, bring your own stuff just in case, because they might not have stuff you like, and they might not have stuff at all, which is what we learned from our friend that was there. Holding that 95, almost to the 10. 3, 2, 1. Nice easy gear. Allow yourself some recovery. Take a drink. Towel off. We're going to do a couple more efforts to keep you honest. And that's a huge thing, especially when you're doing an event of this magnitude, of this distance, and there isn't adequate food for you. If you have to stop at a convenience store, do it. Don't rely on what the ride's giving you, because it could potentially be disaster for you. So if you need to stop and get something at a convenience store, do that. And there were a few along the way that we could choose from. So that was good that there was that as an option. All right, as we move into this last block, we're going to do 1 or 2 of these. Probably 2, just to keep you honest. So this is where we're going to pull all this together. We're going to do 1 minute at 95 cadence. Then we're going to do 1 minute at 110. So you can see how now we're pulling all this together. We're going to do 50 seconds of kind of like a recovery spin. And then we're going to do the last 10 seconds kind of as a push you hard, go as hard as you can go, almost like a sprint if you want to do it out of the saddle. So that's going to push the envelope for each of the elements that we've done prior to this. So for that first 95 cadence, leave yourself in the small ring, pick the gear where you can hold that 95 consistently for that minute. So go ahead and find that gear you want. 3, 2, 1. 1 minute solid, 95, no higher than 95. Make it a solid 95. Heart rate should be top of zone 3. Don't touch zone 4 yet. Even in the middle of zone 3, that's fine. This is kind of your lead out, your build up. You're holding this steady. Just keeping the legs moving. Focusing on all those parts that you know. Keep the legs going. Shoulders are relaxed. Nobody's up here. Especially if your arms are straight. That's going to bring those shoulders up. All right, increasing your cadence to 110. If you can't get it there, whatever over 105 you can make happen. Really spin it. Keep the legs moving fast. Remember what gear you're in for these, because you'll do them for the next one. Back it down. You can go easier gear if you want. Okay, you got into the break. It's kind of settled down. You got 50 seconds to sit here. Then you're going to explode out of this. Seated for 10 seconds. You're going to probably make 2 shifts, harder gears when I count it down. And I want you to really drill it for the last 10 seconds. Feel a little bit of recovery in the legs. 10 more seconds till we get there. Don't go too hard, Earl. Find that gear. 3, 2, 1. Go for it. Sprint it fast. Bring up the cadence. Get your power going. 3, 2, 1. Nice, easy gear. Ooh, now you got the heart rate going. Little recovery. Where are you in your water bottle consumption? Close to the end. The bottles are nice that have this little side panel where you can see your water level. If it's a black bottle or a dark bottle, it's hard to see where you are in your consumption. So that little side window always helps. All right, we're going to do that again. If you want to put yourself in a little harder gear for the first 2 minutes, you can do that. Challenge yourself. If you want to go to your big ring even and make it happen, you can do that. All right, here we go. 95 cadence for a minute. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Don't go over that 95. It's about picking the right gear. Sticking to it. The other lesson learned about long events is when you're starting in the first 3 quarters, keep your nutrition up. Because in that last quarter, you get sick of eating, you get sick of drinking, and you just have a hard time getting things to be consumed in those later hours. Shift and easy, up to 110 or somewhere near that. Keep that cadence high. If you're bouncing, give yourself a harder gear. "30 seconds to go here. Keep the legs spinning. Might be feeling the effects of this workout a little bit. That's okay. 5, 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Allow yourself some recovery. Try to keep that cadence somewhere near 90. That last 10 second, all out. If you want to go for it in your big ring, you may. If you want to go for it out of the saddle, that works too. I just want the most powerful 10 seconds you can give me. I'm being nice with this little recovery here. All right, find your gear. Get ready. 3, 2, go, 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 go. Come on, 10 seconds. 5 to go. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, we're going to spin it out. Good job, guys. That was a good one. Just enough to get the legs to feel the workout. You still have water in your bottle. Consume it. We're going to get a good recovery here. So the last section of the course, they took us into this, it was a left-hand turn, literally right alongside these railroad tracks. Or actually prior to that, it was kind of cool. That part of Pennsylvania, I'm going to say they're very progressive because they actually had this most amazing trail. It was dirt. It was easy to ride on with a bike. It wasn't like being on a mountain bike trail. It was multi-use. It was for bikes and walkers. And some people had dogs, so the dogs were allowed, obviously. But it was kind of up on the side of this mountain. You could see a road below you and some neighborhoods. And it was the best little trail because it was shaded. It was a little downhill, and it was just perfect. And then we got off of that trail, and they put us on another trail that went around this massive, I couldn't tell if it was a reservoir or a lake, but it was huge. And they had built these barriers between the trail and the town, the houses, so that they didn't get any of the noise from it. And it was just such a great, really cool little trail around this reservoir. And then they put us into this trail that went parallel to some railroad tracks, which was kind of rustic. It was cool. There were some really interesting pictures that were taken in that section. So it was really cool to see a little small town like Pittston in central Pennsylvania was about 2 hours away for us. That was so progressive in their trail development, which you don't see in a lot of little towns like that. So good for them. It was really cool. It was good to do. The legs definitely felt it yesterday. I took a full day off yesterday, which was the right way for me to recover. Some people are different. Randy, who's completely crazy, went and did a 50-mile ride yesterday. And then he went hiking with his friend for an hour and a half. But he can recover differently. But I will admit, today, he's dead. So it's different. Different people can recover in different ways. So know what works best for you in your recovery. As you do events, as you do races, everybody has their own way. All right, guys, I have to admit, I'm happy about this workout. All right. Good way to cool down. Nice solid workout. Whew. And we didn't have to go outside in the rain. Good job, everybody.